think I just wanted to see results, right? Like I felt like I was putting in the work, but I wasn't getting anything.
And before we move on with the rest of this video, if you're someone that wants help, maybe you feel like you're stuck in a weight loss plateau as a type 1, you don't know what you need to do to start to lose weight, or maybe you're stuck having fluctuating blood sugar levels when you're working out, when you're not working out, and you just want more control overall, whatever it is, I'm going to drop a link down below where you guys can click that and book a time for us to talk to see if we can help you to kind of get over some of those hurdles and move yourself in the right direction. I mean, before we started working together, what made you want to reach out? Like, what was going on with the diabetes, the fitness, and your overall health goals?
Yeah, I think like I was at the point where I had tried so many different things. It was Weight Watchers and Noom and Atkins and extreme like, hey, don't eat anything kind of weight programs. Ones where he was like, hey, buy these 8 snacks and eat these 8 snacks a day, and it seemed like nothing was working. And I had a bunch of conversations with people, and it was like, listen, like I'm running 30, 40 miles a week. Like, I'm not seeing any results doing anything. And then one day I just kind of stumbled across one of your videos on Instagram. Uh, and it was like, hey, there's, these different pieces, right? You got your weight, you got your diet, your exercise, your blood sugars. And if something's missing from one of those three, and I was like, that's it. Like something is missing. I didn't know what it was that was missing. But I then kind of just started watching some of your videos. And then one day it was just kind of like, wow, I'm like the heaviest I've ever been. This isn't working. So I reached out to you, and then we kind of set up. I spent the whole weekend then after that just kind of watching so many of your videos, and everything just kind of made sense, right? Like it was things that you think like as a diabetic, no one else knows what I'm talking about, right? But then you see someone else and you're like, oh man, someone else has the exact same thing. Maybe this is gonna work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for you, Sean, what was the main outcome that you were looking for with all of this?
I think I just wanted to see results, right? Like I felt like I was putting in the work, but I wasn't getting anything. Um, and then kind of along the way, I feel like I've just kind of felt more confident as a diabetic. I think sometimes we like to just kind of push it off to the side and say like, hey, don't worry about that. Like I would wear my Dexcom like on my upper thigh or my stomach where like, people aren't gonna see it because I don't want to have conversations or deal with it. So I think then it's kind of changed now. I kind of started wearing it on my arm, kind of putting it in spots where it's um, just kind of making me feel okay about things, and seeing those results I think was a big help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in terms of where you are there, I thought my mic was off for a second there, Sean, but I think we're good. But you know, before you started, before you jumped in, was there anything that you feel like maybe was about to hold you back from starting with what we did here?
I mean, I think with any kind of thing that you're doing, there's, always reservations with, things like money and how much is something going to cost, and, is this going to work? I think that was a big one for me, right? Like I was like, you know what? I'm willing to give this a shot, but then it's like, what if it doesn't work, right? What if it's me? What if this whole time it's me and you give me this awesome program, but it doesn't work for me, right? So that was kind of like this, like, is it better to, uh, not try than to try and fail, right? And in which is a bad way to do stuff. So I think it was, I had tried so many different things that it was then like, okay, let's give this a shot. What do I have to lose, really, right? Like, um, and so yeah, it was great.
Awesome, man. And what made you finally decide to pull the trigger with all of that?
I think it was just watching so many of your videos, like I said, like, and ones like this with other people talking about stuff. And it's like, okay, like people who were in the same boat as me,
Mhm.
and they're kind of seeing results. I think was a big motivation and big factor. I
Awesome.
think I feel like I would say if someone is on the fence, like uh, you don't have anything to lose. You like. but it's not a magic pill. It's not someone telling you, hey, you should take cinnamon, and your diabetes is cured, right? Like you have to put in the work, and when I put in the work, I see the results. And like uh, my A1C, I got down to 5.7 in my last blood work.
Yeah.
um, I think when we first started, I was like, hey, listen, like I would love to be under 200 pounds. And then I was on the scale and I see 199, and it's like, I didn't think that that was possible.
Yeah.
So, I think that sometimes uh, we have these dreams about things, and sometimes we don't ever realize we're going to get there. And then when we get there, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So,
And that's an amazing point to touch on there. And in terms of us when we started, what have you noticed overall? I know you mentioned here that you went, the A1C went down. Where did you start at from where you went to, and where were you starting with the weight from where you went to as well?
yeah, I mean, I can think back to, 15 years ago or whenever it was that I got diagnosed in my A1C. I wound up in the hospital at like 14 something. And the
Mhm.
doctor was like, if you would have waited another 2 hours to come to the hospital, you would have died. But I've always kind of hovered in the um, mid sevens, high six kind of range. So like my goal was to be like, hey, if I could get and see a five at the front, like that would be awesome. But before we started working together, I got up to 225, and then got in the 199 spot
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
197 was the lowest I saw on the scale. Um,
Awesome. Yeah.
but yeah,
And in terms of your A1C, where were you at before we started there as well?
I think I was probably like 6.5, 6.8, somewhere in that kind of spot. So almost a full point drop.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. And in terms of the investment that you made, how do you feel with that?
Yeah, I think it was a great one. Something that I haven't told you yet that I have to tell you about that.
Yeah.
Um, because we signed up for 6 months, so I want to
Yeah.
sign up for another 6 months,
Awesome.
and
Yeah.
keep the train rolling. Uh,
Awesome. Let's get it.
while I'm happy with where I'm at, like because we did a great job, but I still
Yeah.
think I can keep going.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I definitely worth you know, uh, yeah, everything that I spent. So.
Let's get it, man. That's amazing, man. And again, a lot of this is your character, man, and what you put in. And I always say, it's like, we can, open the door, but it's you that has to walk through it, and you've done that. And you put a lot of the work in, man. And I'm excited for us to keep moving that train forward for you, Sean.
Yeah, and one thing that I've told you, and I feel like every person has probably told you, like I've learned more from you in 6 months than like my doctors in the past 15, 20 years, which is
Let's
insane.
go.
I think I told you one of the first things I remember from one of your videos that kind of sold me was I went to my doctor probably 3 years ago, and I was like, hey, sometimes when I work out, I see my blood sugar go up. Sometimes when I work up and I see it go down. She's like, well, that's how, so we don't know. Sometimes it just happens. And then I watched one of your videos, and you're like, oh, well, there's the difference between aerobic and anaerobic workout. You can do this. Like, where were you 3 years ago, Coach Jay?
Yeah.
So yeah, so things like that just kind of, I think, really put me on the right path here, and I appreciate it.
Of course, man. I totally got you. And I think that's something that a lot of type ones notice as well, including myself. We're part of a system that you feel like should be able to give you the answers. And then they kind of run you around a circle and just call it brittle diabetes or say, hey, man, that's just how it goes. But you're realizing now with what you dropped in terms of your A1C and your weight, there's more to the picture.
Yeah, and things that I didn't really ever realize. It was always just like, oh, hey, your carbs and this, and then it's like, okay, well, you find that, oh, hey, actually, when I take a shower, my blood sugar goes up, or I watch sports and my sugar goes up, or like things like that. It's such a complex thing that I think just putting a focus on and understanding is really helpful.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And what would you say to someone who's thinking about making this investment for themselves?
Yeah, I would say reach out to you. Start with that first conversation, right? Like I said, just realize that you know it isn't just a magic fix, right? Like you're going to give someone all of the right answers, and like we can go over those tests and see what your ratio should be. But if you're not doing the things that you're supposed to, it's not there. So if you're going to put in the work, I 100% would say go for it. But I've tried all those diets, right? I tried the magic. Oh, you take this and your metabolism's going to go crazy. I've tried it, okay, and it's not. This is not it, but it works. And so yes, I would say reach out, have that first conversation with Coach Jay. Super friendly, yeah, and just kind of figure out what you can do to make your life better. Because yeah,
Amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
I think like I feel happier too now. Like I feel like I've gotten all this stuff under control, and I feel like it's like a weight off my shoulders.
Amazing.
Not to use a cliche, but to have that like
Yeah.
it not something I'm worried about all the time. That like I can understand why my sugar is doing something and fix it.
Amazing. Amazing. And is there anything else you want to add as well in terms of where you are?
Uh, yeah, I would. I mean, I would just say that like I'm super happy
Yeah.
getting to this point.
Yeah.
But now that I see that I can get to this point, I want to keep going. So
What's
yeah,
next? Yeah.
yep,
Awesome.
exactly.
Awesome. Man. Well, super proud of you, man, in terms of what you've done, Sean. I mean, you show up, you jump through it and you keep going. And now it's about us taking things to the next level, man. So keep it up.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
All right, I hope what you guys saw here was valuable. I hope it was inspiring. And if you're someone that maybe you want the most value that I can bring for you, I promise you it's not going to be in a video. It's going to be by us working together and showing you how you can execute this for yourself. So if you're someone that wants more guidance on executing this so you can get past a weight loss plateau, start dropping weight, start putting on muscle, start getting better control over the blood sugars. Again, I'm going to drop a link down below where you can find a time for us to talk so we can see what we can do to help you take things to the next level there. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.